Hello friends, my name is Shripal Gandhi. I represent an organization which is called as Keep Moving Movement. This is my 11th year in Keep Moving Movement, where the entire focus is to build the culture of inspiration amongst today's youth. You know why youth? India is one of the youngest country in the world. Why? Because more than 50% of our population is less than 25 years in the age group, making us maybe one of the youngest country in the world. Such is the power in youth. So much can be done through youth. What are we going to do today? We are going to do something which is very unique, very different. And as the topic itself says, Born to Win, what a brilliant way to start KMM 2021 with this whole mental philosophy called Born to Win. But before we dive in to our entire session, let me ask you a few questions. If your answer is yes, you can nod your head or you can raise your hand. Have you ever got bad grades? How many of you have got bad grades? Bad grades? Yes? Second question. How many of you have got more than one bad grades? Right? Now, let me tell you something very, very interesting. Whether it is a good grade, my friends, or a bad grade, does it really define our future? Does it qualify us? Does it basket us that he is a failure and he is a champion? Good grades or bad grades are not really a direct indicator of whether we will be a failure in life or a champion in life. Shripal, then tell me what really makes a champion? You may be thinking about it. Listen to me very carefully. A champion, when you have these four things, you can be a real champion in the future. One, your ability to put in desired efforts in any situation, in any facets of life. Second, your ability to grab opportunities, your ability to maximize your potential. Three, your ability to handle tough situations in life, what I call adversity quotient. Very, very unique. You might have heard IQ, EQ, this is AQ, adversity quotient. And the fourth one is impact. When you are able to create an impact and help enough people around, that's what really makes you a true champion. You may be wondering, what is the best way to create an impact? There are many other ways to create impact. One of the most profound way to create an impact is through philanthropy. And if you look at this slide on your screen, which shows a 2021 research of all the greatest and the biggest philanthropists in the world, who is the number one philanthropist in the world until now? None other than our own Jamshedji Tata, the founder of Tata Group. It's not Bill Gates, it's not Elon Musk, it's not Steve Jobs either. It is Jamshedji Tata from India. Just with this one thing, you know how much he had contributed, his organization called Tata Sons contributed to the world? Can you read what is there on your screen? Acha, can you at least count the number of zeros? This is the amount which he has contributed to the world through his organization. 7,60,000 crores. That is the amount which has been contributed, making him the biggest and the greatest philanthropist in the world. $100+ billion. What a brilliant way to create an impact. Now, this impact is created, and because of his impact and because the fact that he is from India, the entire world started noticing India and realized that this is a country which loves to give. When you want India to be seen as world class, what is needed? For a moment, let me give you an example of America. Whether it is Facebook or Amazon or Google or Netflix or Microsoft, all these companies belong to America. They are headquartered in America. Your country is nothing but a reflection of dreams of its people. Would you like India to be world class? If your answer is yes, comment below. You can write it in the chat box. Would you like India to be on top? If your answer is yes, then the next question is, what will make India true world class? And this is possible only when you, yes my dear friends, you start dreaming world class. When you have big dreams, that's how you can bring your country to be world class. We are a country which knows how to give, and your school has given us time to be with yourself. So thank you so much for giving us that time, for being with us. We will ensure we will make every moment, every second count which we interact with. My dear friends, we are going to have a brilliant time together. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I assure you that it will be a journey worth celebrating. So be open, share freely, write comments, interact more, and let's have a great time together. Excited? I am. Wow. So I need to start dreaming big. I need to start thinking extraordinary. But Sripal, Instagram yesterday night only I posted, and till now I have got only 7 likes. Facebook I had posted something, hardly any likes. YouTube also I thought many people will follow me, subscribe my channel. No donut there. Do I really feel I am extraordinary? I feel I am ordinary. Really? Do you really feel you are ordinary? Do you feel you have a lot of limitations? Hang on a sec. Let me show you something very, very interesting. If you see what is there on your slide, what is there on your slide? Is it a piece of rock? Or it is a piece of iron ore? Or is it a piece of bauxite? Or is it a piece of aluminium ore? What is it? Looks like rock, right? Now, let me show you something. What happens when you go through the process? My dear friend, what I showed you is an uncut diamond. When the same diamond goes through the process, when it is cut, polished and presented in the manner, now what you see on your screen is a sparkling, scintillating, glazing, glittering diamond which is multidimensional, worth millions of dollars. Same diamond, but it has not gone through the process. But the same diamond which is uncut right now, when it goes through the process, it is refined one, and this world is willing to pay huge premium, massive value for it. All of us, everybody present here, all of you who are listening, everybody is a diamond. Every single person who is hearing this is a diamond. You know, the only thing could be some of us, in some of our case, only that our potential is not manifested. That means we are still an uncut diamond. For us to become the finished, refined, beautiful diamond, we need to execute choice. Which choice? You remember those 4 things I talked about? You need to start believing that you are born to win. You need to start believing that you are a champion, and you need to execute this choice that yes, you are willing to put in efforts, grab all the opportunities, increase your adversity quotient and create massive impact. When all this is possible, then nothing is impossible. So what you just saw right now, isn't it brilliant? How an uncut diamond become a refined diamond? Are you ready for another story? Very, very interesting story. Yes? Yes? Raise your hand, nod your head, comments below. Once there was a party which was going on. It was a birthday celebration in a huge mansion in UK. It was a big villa where this whole party was going on, and the person who was celebrating her birthday, her name was Miss Shelley. Miss Shelley, in her entire big mansion, you know, in those times there were slaves, and she had 2 Negroes as slaves at her place, who would do all the activities like cleaning the floors, mopping the floors, cleaning the house. And those two kids, one of them was just 10-year-old and another one was 14-year-old. While the party was going on, so many people were coming, wishing her, whether it was huge bouquets, lot of flowers, lot of cakes, and lot of gifts. These small little kids were just observing, because for them this was like a dream come true. They had never seen this level of abundance. While they were looking at it, they thought that this is our Miss Shelley. With all the purity in their heart, they thought they should do something for her. So with whatever little money they would earn, they kind of put it together and they had brought a small gift. So they thought now they should go and give this to Miss Shelley. So right in the middle of the party, when this party was going on and when they saw Miss Shelley to be little free, these two kids approached Miss Shelley and said, "Miss Shelley, happy birthday." And before even they offer her what they had saved and what they had purchased, their gift, Miss Shelley looked at them with lot of disgrace and shouted at them that wait for some time, when the party is over, eat whatever it is left over and then only you can go to sleep. These two kids could not handle this insult. The small one, the 10-year-old kid, this was 10-year-old kid, she was a girl, and 14, she had a brother who was a 14-year-old. They could not handle this. With whatever dignity she could muster, with tears rolling down her eyes, they didn't say anything, but she just ran out of the house and started running downhill. Whatever road she saw, she started running there. She kept on running for a while and her brother behind her. She kept on running and then she saw a beach. She approached a beach and then there she sees a coconut tree there. She goes, sat below the tree and she was howling, she was crying because she could not handle this kind of insult, this kind of humiliation. And her brother also came there. He also sat. He was trying to console her, but she was just continuously, profusely howling. And while she was howling, she just looked in the sky and she saw a red balloon going up in the air. Something caught her attention. She stood up and she started walking towards that balloon. When she saw that it is not that balloon, but there is a gas balloon seller there who is standing, and from there all the balloons are going up in the sky, and she saw the red balloon going up, and then she sees again, now after this there is a blue balloon which is again going up. She goes towards him, towards the gas balloon seller, and she stands like this and she waits. Red goes up, blue goes up, and the gas balloon seller again takes another balloon, leaves the thread, and the green balloon also started going up. She waits there. She walks, takes few steps ahead, goes towards the gas balloon seller. And now she is very, very curious because the gas balloon seller has got a white balloon in his hand. And she just wants to see now what happens when he leaves this gas balloon. So he fills the gas inside the balloon and there is a thread, and he just releases the thread and sees the gas balloon started going up in the sky. Something happened to her. She went running towards the gas balloon seller. And you know what she said? Uncle, you first released left red balloon, it went up. Blue also went up, green also went up, and then uncle, you had white balloon. The moment you released the thread, even the white balloon went up. Uncle, if you have a black balloon, if you release that, will it go up? Uncle, if you have a black balloon and if you release that thread, will it go up? Such was the profound psychological impact this small 10-year-old kid had on her. Because she thought, because she is Negro, because she is black, she cannot do anything in life. And she thought that because white balloon also went up, will black balloon also go up? The gas balloon seller was a wise man. He called this small little kid. He put hand around her shoulder and said, "My dear child, if you see, it is not the color of the balloon which makes it go up. My dear child, it is not the color of the balloon that makes it go up, but it is what is inside the balloon what makes it go up, and we are all made up of same inside stuff. So whether it is the color of the balloon, the size of the balloon, the shape of the balloon, everything is immaterial. What is inside in it is all matters. And we are all made up of same inside stuff. So it is not about being white or being black. We are all made up of same inside stuff. It is the same power which created all of us. Isn't it the case in our life, my dear friends, where sometimes we are compared? We see he has this, I don't have. But don't we realize that we are all made up of same inside stuff? Like that uncut diamond has to just realize that it is a diamond and it can become a diamond now. Same is the case in our life. And that is why Swami Vivekananda so beautifully said, "Give me 100 committed youth to change this country." Because he believed in this, that every balloon can go to top. He believed in it that everybody has got great potentials. It's only the manifestation of that potential that is what is needed. And what is needed for that? Only a choice. You are just a decision away from there, that's all. Are you all ready to execute that choice? Are you all ready to execute that decision and manifest humongous possibilities in life? Let's discover together. Hey, I have an idea. You want to play some games? Let's play some games. Here is the rule. If your answer is yes, you will turn on your camera. If your answer is no, you will turn off your camera. Very simple. Yes, on camera. No, off camera. Done? Okay, let's play. So I'm going to ask you a few questions, and if your answer is yes, you will turn on camera. If your answer is no, you will switch off camera. Have you ever been compared in your life for your behaviors? A behavior like you are too slow in eating. On camera, off camera. A behavior like you don't move around too much. You are a couch potato. दिन भर सोफे पे बैठा रहता है. Look at him, he is so active. Is it like that? You are too slow eater. You spend too much time on mobile. All the time you are stuck to your mobile. Is it that so? So many things when it comes to behavior, why don't you compare? Okay, another one. Did any of you go through this wherein you were compared for your looks? Look, he is so fair, or he is so dark, or she is so fair. Has it happened to you? If the answer is yes, keep the camera on. If the answer is no, keep the camera off. Acha. Now also weight, right? Has anybody told you Motu, Golu, right? Just maybe you may be a little plump, and that's why people might have teased you, compared you with others. All of us have gone through this, right? And this is something which is very common, what I'm going to say. Were you ever compared for the marks? That he got so many marks, you didn't get so much. Or he got such a good grades, you didn't get so much. Has it happened to you? Answer is yes, keep the camera on. If the answer is no, keep the camera off. Now, let us discover what happens when we go through this thing called comparison. Yeah? When we go through this comparison, how do you really handle? Think about it. How do you really handle? First, do you become sad? Okay, let me tell you something about my life. I used to study in a town called as Ichalkaranji. I studied all my life in vernaculars in Marathi medium, and I was never a fluent speaker. In 10th grade, I did very well. I scored, I topped the class. came in the Kolhapur Divisional Board, and now I go to college. Now, when I go to college, I was in the boys school earlier. When I go to college, it is a co-ed college. Girls and boys are there, and those who came from convent, they used to have a very fluent, flowing English with a very flowery language, with a great command, great oratory skills, and I was very good in study. In fact, better than them. But I was not a good communicator. I was not very fluent in English, and I used to get often compared. And because I was not very fluent, I was not quite gelled along, or I was never mixed up with their teams and their crew. And sometimes I used to feel left out. बुरा लगता था. I used to feel sad. I used to feel withdrawn. Whether it is English or it is about wearing good clothes. All my life until again 10th, 11th, I never wore jeans or t-shirts or sports shoes. I had a tailor, in Ichilkaranji there was a tailor called as Universal Tailor. Everybody in our family, all our clothes used to get stitched there at Universal Tailors. And that's what we used to wear. So we used to wear a very loose baggy pants, if you remember those. And I was compared with these guys who were wearing all nice clothes and nice shoes and branded clothes. उस time feel होता था that I don't have it, or I am not able to wear as good as them. आपके साथ होता है क्या? Maybe some of you might be going through a similar situation. So I used to feel sad. Another scenario, I went to study in UD City in Mumbai. I did very well there. I got a fellowship to study further and do my master's in chemical engineering in California. And when my visa was denied, not once, not twice, but thrice for no valid reasons, I was extremely mad, very, very angry. Because as a family, because it was not only for Shripal, but I think as a parent, as every father, every mother, they want their children to do well. And now it looked like all those dreams collapsed overnight. I was very angry. Have you gone through anything similar situation? And when it comes to another level of comparison, then finally I got visa. I went to US. I studied there. I was working there, and then I decided to come back to India and start a business here. So when I came back to India, I was often compared with my other colleagues or with my other peers who were staying in US and still doing their jobs. In US, when I was working as a scientist, I used to draw close to 4 lakh rupees a month. When I moved back to India in 2008, I started my journey with 25,000 rupees a month. And I often, very, very often used to get compared that why did you do this? Look at them, they are earning so well. But when it comes to money and when it comes to this kind of comparison, at that level, at that maturity, it did not bother me. Because I knew that for me, coming back to India, starting something here, scaling it up here, I knew that it's just a matter of time. And I will be able to grow to the desired level, whatever I want. Maybe somebody didn't realize it, but that's okay. It didn't affect me. Some of you might have gone through this kind of comparison too, right? So we talked about what? We looked at different kind of comparisons. Behavior comparisons, looks comparisons, marks comparisons. Then we also looked at how do we handle comparisons. What happens? Do we feel sad? Do we feel angry? Or it is okay with us? It doesn't bother us. What happens? So my dear friends, let me ask you this. Which comparison do you find it difficult to handle? Comment below or write in the chat box. Which comparison in life you find it difficult to handle? Is it about looks? Is it about marks? Is it about behavior? Is it about your height? What is it about? Is it about the financial background? What is it about? Which comparison do you find it difficult to handle? Comment below. Now, let me show you something very interesting. Are you all ready? कुछ इंटरेस्टिंग दिखा दे. Okay, so let me show you some personalities. These people have done remarkably well in their life. Who is on your screen? Remo D'Souza, brilliant dancer, but he doesn't have the personality of Amitabh Bachchan. Who is next to Amitabh Bachchan? Mukesh Ambani. Amitabh Bachchan doesn't have wealth of Mukesh Ambani. But does Mukesh Ambani have the respect of a soldier? No. And when it comes to soldier, does soldier have the education of a Nobel laureate or a university graduate or a C.V. Raman? No, right? But if I were to ask you another question, aren't all of them from Remo to Amitabh Bachchan to Mukesh Ambani to soldier to C.V. Raman or the Nobel laureate or the graduates, aren't all of them living great lives? They are indeed. What does it really mean? Every gas balloon can go to top. What does it really mean? Tomorrow, imagine if Amitabh Bachchan starts saying, Remo, I want to dance like you. He will lose his personality. If a soldier starts saying that, no, I want to have wealth like Ambani, it will not go along. Listen to me very carefully. Everybody cannot be great at everything in life, but everybody can be great at something in life, and we just need to recognize what is that something. So until now, what did we discover together? We saw how Jamshedji Tata brought India on the world map when it comes to philanthropy. If we want India to be world class, we need to dream world class. We need to believe we are born to win. How do we do that? We just looked at it. We are not ordinary. We looked at uncut diamond can become a very polished, magnificent, sparkling diamond. We looked at every gas balloon can go to top. It doesn't matter what is the color of the balloon. Then we looked at something very different, very interesting. Because once you know you are born to win, once in a while when you are compared, you may feel little weak, you may feel little low. You may feel that sometime you are good for nothing because you are compared. So we looked at what are the different kind of comparisons. Then we also looked at how do we feel when we are compared. And then we looked at all the different kind of personalities. They are great at something and still living great life. They don't need to be compared on everything in life. We need to understand that what are we good at, that something, and really focus on that. And comparison still may happen. So how do we handle comparison? Are you all ready? I have 3 secret tricks for that. Trick number 1. Never ever compare yourself with others when it comes to matters which are not in your control. Never ever compare yourself with others in the matters which are not in your control. What do you really mean by this? Let's see. Do you need a great height to live a great life? No. Look at Sachin Tendulkar. What is his height? 5'4". Look at Amir Khan. What is his height? 5 feet and 3 inches just. Look at Lionel Messi. What is his height? 5 feet 5 inches. And still they live great life. They are living great life. So I don't need a great height to live a great life because it is not in my control, right? Let's look at another example. It need not be about height. हाँ सर, let's look at the looks. Looks तो बनता है ना? Okay, ठीक है. Let's look at looks. What about Virat Kohli? Do you think he's good looking? What about Mother Teresa? Is she good because of her looks or is she good because of her deeds? Both of them are living and lived great life. You don't need great looks to live a great life, my dear friends. And thirdly, you may be wondering, Shripal, that height is okay, look is okay, but we don't have a financial background like others to make big in life. Let me show you something. If you look at what is there on your screen, the founder of Amazon, Jeff Bezos, came from a very humble background. Again, same is the case with the Bansal brothers who founded Flipkart. Next to them you have Vijay Shekhar Sharma of Paytm. His today net worth is more than $2.3 billion, more than 17,000 crores. His father was a principal in a small town in UP called Aligarh. Such a humble beginning, and he still made it very big in life. How? Just with that one choice which we discussed in the beginning, and to realize that yes, I am born to win. And I will not compare in the matters which are not in my control. Is looks in my control? No. So my dear friends, never ever compare yourself in the matters which are not in your control. Point number 2, never ever compare with others in the matter which are not important to you. What does it mean? It simply means you live your own standards and not worry about world standards. Let's look at these personalities. MS Dhoni come from a very small town, Ranchi, and he still made it very big in life. When he came to international cricket, he was having a very long hair. Was it more important for him to focus on his hair or to focus on his games? He believed that let people judge me, guess my performance, look at my performance, evaluate me based on my shots and the sixes and the helicopter shots I hit, and not from the length of my hair. Next to him, you have APJ Kalam. When the whole world was not cooperating when it comes to nuclear policies, APJ believed that it was very important for India to have its own weapon and to build nuclear weaponry. Because he believed in it, it did not matter what others said. It was not important to him. Ursula Burns, very, very inspirational personality. In fact, she is the first black woman to become the CEO of a Fortune 500 company called Xerox. And you should know her background, my dear friends. She began her journey as an intern in Xerox, and she ended up becoming the president and the CEO of Xerox Global. Born in a very small small town out of New York, in a small ghetto, which was known for crime actually, in a black family. Grew up with a single mother and still made it so big. Became the first ever black woman as a CEO of a Fortune 500 company. Was it important for her to have a great financial background, to have certain level of degrees? Did not really matter. She believed she is good. She believed she was born to win, and she made a difference in her life and in lives of so many around. Steve Jobs. When the whole world was focusing on processors and the RAMs and the ROMs and the cameras and talking about the specifications of the computer, Steve Jobs believed, because it was not important to him what were the specifications. He believed that when it comes to electronic gadgets, it should be very cool. The user interface should be very intuitive. There has to be a design, there has to be a class, there has to be a panache in whatever he does or whatever he builds. And he revolutionized computer industry and mobility industry by very slick design oriented products, and rest is history. If we were to talk about a student's life, if some of you may be very good in English, but maybe one of your friend is studying German and you get compared because you don't know German, does it really matter? Because you believe you are good in English, so you should continue to believe that, and being compared on the matters which are not important to you, it should not bother you. One of your friend may be studying, or some of your friends may be studying in the morning, getting up early, studying up in the morning. You may feel that your best comes up in the evening or in the night, so you study in the evening or in the night. Studying in the morning is not important to you. So even if you are compared, it should not bother to you. Never ever compare, my dear friends, yourself with others when it comes to matters which are not important to you. And the third one, so first one is never compare yourself with others in the matters which are not in your control. Second, Never compare yourself in the matters which are not important to you. What is third? If at all you have to compare, compare only when you want to improve. Compare only when you want to get inspired. Let me give you an example of PV Sindhu. You know, PV Sindhu, one day she was sleeping and she didn't feel like getting up and going for a practice. So her father came and he whispered in her ear, your opponent, that Carolina Marin, she got up at 4:30 and she is practicing and you are still in the bed. She already has 1.5 hours of lead than you. Would you like to live like this? PV Sindhu got up, became better, improved her game. Compare to improve, compare to learn. Then again, once Carolina Marin was a very, very aggressive Spanish player when it comes to badminton. And PV Sindhu was aggressive from inside, it was not visible aggression. But on the field, when you are playing against an opponent who is very aggressive, it is very important to also exhibit that level of aggression to build a psychological pressure on your opponent. PV Sindhu hired a South Korean coach to bring in aggression on the field to become better. So what did she do? She compared, but it was comparison to become better in the areas which matter to you. Another example, you all know Tiger Shroff. He is not only an acting hero, but he was truly inspired by Hrithik. So he decided to develop his dancing skills. And he is one of the best dancers today in India or in Indian Bollywood industry. Not only an action hero, but a great dancer. Compare to improve, compare to get inspired. My dear friends, we just learned very important 3 secrets of how to handle comparisons. Now let me also tell you something. My dear friends, none of us can be great at everything in life. So we need to make a choice where we want to become great. As I said earlier, everybody cannot be great at everything in life, but we all can be great at something in life. We need to identify that what is something. Let me give you a few examples from Animal Kingdom. Okay, are you all ready? Are you all excited? Tortoise, do you think tortoise can run? Not at all. Do you think elephant can jump? Not at all. Do you think horse can hunt? Mm-hmm. And do you think lion has a great stamina? No way. In fact, lion has stamina to run only for 200 meters. After that, they are so fatigued, they are so tired. That's how they are designed. But everybody has got a phenomenal strength. Tortoise known for eternal living. Elephant known for his phenomenal might. Horse is known for its power. And lion is known for its ferocity. Nobody takes any panga with lion. But imagine tomorrow they start comparing with each other. And here, imagine an elephant tells tortoise, "Yaar, kya zindagi hai teri? All the time you are swimming, whether it is lake or it is river or it is ocean. I don't get to do it here." What will happen to elephant? Elephant will start losing its might. Imagine if tomorrow lion goes and tells horse, he starts comparing. Horse kya bhagta hai yaar tu? You are like on race course or anywhere, anywhere in the jungle. What running you do yaar? What speed? What stamina? What charm? ये नहीं है मेरे पास. Though people call me the king of the jungle, but I don't have what you have. What will happen to lion? Lion will start losing its ferocity. So what do we do? My dear friends, listen to me very carefully. We play on our strengths. What do you mean? A faithful dog, a graceful cat, a memory of an elephant, and power of an horse. If you focus on this, you can live a great life, because this is something what you are really good at. You don't need to compare with anybody else. You are playing on your strength. We all have our own strength. The fact that we are born itself says that we are born to win. We are definitely born to win, and we all have our unique innate strength. The key thing is only to identify what we are good at. So let's talk about strengths. Let me give you some of the examples what I feel I am good at. So I feel I am very good at when it comes to thinking big. It comes very naturally, whether it is business, whether it is holidaying, whether it is going out with friends. Overall, in anything what I do, thinking big comes very naturally, and it has helped me tremendously. When I came back from US, where I was doing a job, and then came back to India, where I started my first business, and then second business, and then third business, thinking big has been a big quality. Because of that, I was able to expand the business, build a very strong channel in India and now worldwide. Thinking big is my strength. Another strength which is I feel is very unique is an ability to strike a balance between the persuasiveness and also the technology advantage. So I can understand any technology from any field and still find its applicability when it comes to consumer, when it comes to sales, when it comes to branding. And this combination is very unique. I think this has given me a very big advantage in whatever I have done in life. And thirdly, I have been an eternal optimist. That is one of the biggest strength I have. And I have had scenarios wherein, I was hospitalized in ICU for 21 days in 2007 when I met up with a car accident, or whether it was visa, which I told you earlier, when it was rejected 3 times, or when it comes to certain decisions not going right as what I had anticipated. In every single time, I have scouted and I have mind for what is good, because in everything what you do, there is always some good. It's just a matter of us, it's just a matter of time, and it's a matter of a decision for us to really find that goodness. And that eternal optimism, because I really believe everything happens for a reason, and there is something good which is about to happen. There is something beautiful, wonderful which is about to happen, and that has given me a very big advantage. That has given me such a brilliant peace, lot of joy, lot of bliss. My third strength. First strength, thinking big. Second strength, ability to strike between technology and the consumer side of the business. And third is eternal optimism. These are my strengths. What are yours? Is it gratitude? Is it helping other people? Is it, oh, I have a brilliant sense of humor. The way I can crack jokes, or the way I can make people laugh. Nobody can do that. What are your advantages? What are your strengths? Think about it. Think about it for a moment. Are you very passionate? Are you very sincere? Is that your strength? Are you very hardworking? Is that your strength? Do you get along with people? Is that your strength? What is your strength? Are you very creative? Can you sing? What is your strength? Take a few moments and think about and write down. Comment below. Comment below. Write down in the chat box, what is your unique strength? Give me at least 3 strengths, my dear friends. What makes you very, very unique? Where you really believe that, yes, I am born to win because I have 3 unique strengths. So this is good, Shripal, but tell me at an emotional level, what can I do to feel that I am born to win? Let me tell you something very interesting. To defeat comparison and to live by your strength, what you need is self-belief. And there are 4 powerful ways I am going to share it with you, how you can build self-belief with this daily dose. What is dose? Is it an injection dose? No, don't panic. I am not giving you any injection dose. But this is a dose to boost your self-belief. So let's start with D for dopamine. This is an enzyme which gets generated in your body when you reward yourself. When do you feel rewarded? When you complete a task. You feel a sense of achievement. You thought you will complete the journal today, and you did complete. You feel good. When you thought you will get up at this time and you got up at this time, you feel good. When you complete any task, you feel good in time. Second is Taking good care of yourself. What do I really mean by taking good care of yourself? Ensuring your sleep is good and sound. Ensuring your food is healthy, your diet is very good. You are taking good care of yourself. Ensuring you don't have any issues when it comes to your health or body. Doing regular routine checkups. When you do all this, you feel you are taking good care of yourself, aren't you? And the third one is when you celebrate those little chotu wins. On a daily basis, we do so many things from morning to evening, the time we get up and start brushing till the time we go to bed. So many things we are doing, and we plan to do certain things. We have expectation from the day that we should achieve this today, whether it is going to school, answering it, doing something very well in certain subjects, in certain topics, meeting a friends, playing a sports. But when you really achieve, when you do what you thought you will do, reward yourself. It may be going out and having an ice cream, maybe sometime going out having a coffee. My favorite is hot caramel chocolate macchiato. Sometime it is maybe listening to a piece of music. Sometime it is having a strawberry milkshake. Reward yourself. Celebrate these little wins. Sometime it could be just closing your eyes and dancing. But celebrate those little wins. D for dopamine. What is O? O for oxytocin. This is a hormone which gets generated in the body when you build connections. How do you do that? How do you generate this? By hugging. When you hug loved ones, you feel secured, you feel accepted, you feel respected. That's where oxytocin starts generating. Again, next one is when you start appreciating people around. That's a brilliant quality, my dear friends. If you can develop this quality on a daily basis, make it a point to appreciate at least 3 people. And 120 days later, you will realize that now you become a gold miner. In everything you are able to see good. It's a brilliant quality one can develop. Appreciate people around on a daily basis. And third one is if you have pets, when you play with them, oxytocin starts generating and you feel connect. You feel a lot of peace. Dopamine, oxytocin. What is S? S is serotonin. S is also called a happy hormone. What does it do? It is actually a mood enhancer. That's why it is called a happy hormone. How do you get this? When you meditate. When you meditate, something deep happens not only at a mental level but also at a physiological level. And these enzymes get secreted, which is called as happy hormone. So you might have found that sometime you may be very agitated, then you sat, did a meditation, now you feel far more peaceful. On a daily basis, make it a point to meditate for 5, 10, 20 minutes. Second is playing. Whatever games you like, it can be basketball, badminton, chess. Sir, maybe it is lockdown, so you cannot go out too much. So within your family also you can play carom, you can play cards, whatever games you like. But playing also releases this happy hormone called serotonin. And my favorite, exercise. Because the beauty of exercise, I'll tell you something very interesting. When you begin the exercise, the emotions with which you begin are very different. But when you complete and when you end your exercise, then you are on a high, you feel charged, you feel very refreshed, isn't it? Exercise, again, brilliant way to release serotonin. Dopamine, oxytocin, S for serotonin. And what is the E in dose of DOSE? E for endorphins. This is an enzyme which gets generated when you release all the negative emotions. How do you do that? How do you release all the negative emotions? Start laughing, right? Have a circle of friends who laugh a lot. The more you surround yourself with friends who laugh, you will feel very light and you will not have all these negative emotions. It's a brilliant therapy. That's why they call it a laughter therapy, laughter club. That is the power, because it generates endorphin and you feel good. What else besides laughter? Massage. When you do massage once in a while, sometimes all these negative emotions, pent up emotions are stuck in those muscles and joints. When you go through massage, you feel relaxed, you feel peaceful. And you know, the last one in endorphins, the way you can generate is hobbies. Develop hobbies, nurture hobbies on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, whether it is painting, singing, playing certain kind of sports, dancing, whatever you like, right? Whatever your hobby is, collecting coins, sketches, whatever you like to do, nurture it. You know why? Because when you are involved in your hobbies, daily challenges of life do not affect you and you feel fulfilled. That is the power, because the body generates endorphins. So when you have these four things, dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin and endorphins, that is your daily dose. And when you do these things on a daily basis, then your self-belief is boosting and it's very high. And when your self-belief is high, even if people compare, it won't affect you. And when you do that, you feel you are really born to win. Isn't it beautiful? So what did we do since the beginning? We realized Jamshedji Tata is the biggest and the greatest philanthropist. Because of him, India is known as a country who loves to give. And here we are, because this is one of the biggest way to create an impact. How do we build India world class? We can only do this when we ourselves have powerful dreams. When we ourselves believe that we are born to win. Because every country is a reflection of the dreams of its people. When we know we are born to win, we believe we are not ordinary, but we are extraordinary. We looked at that uncut diamond can become a very polished, refined, beautiful diamond. We looked at it is not the color of the balloon, but every balloon, gas balloon, can go to the top. And then, once in a while, even if we feel we are born to win, we may be compared. It may make us feel little down. So we learned different kind of comparisons. We also learned what happens when we get compared, what kind of feelings we go through. And then we learned also three important, beautiful ways to handle comparison. Do you remember? Yes? Comment below, chat box. First one was never ever compare yourself with others in the matter which are not in your control. Second one was never ever compare yourself with others in the matters which are not important to you. And the third one was compare yourself with others only when you want to improve, you want to learn and you want to get inspired. Brilliant ways to handle comparison. We learned all of this. Then we looked at different kind of personalities and how they made big in life and are still living great lives. Because we realized something very beautiful about life, that everybody cannot become great at everything. But everybody can become great at something and still live a great life, because every gas balloon can go to top. Beautiful thing. We also looked at animal kingdom, how playing on our strength is so important and not comparing. Then we discovered our own strength today. I shared mine, you also shared yours. If you haven't, please comment below. Write it in the chat box. What are your three top strengths? And now, once we know we have these strengths, once we know we are born to win, once we know how to handle comparisons, then all we need is self-belief. And then we learn four beautiful ways of self-belief, boosting self-belief. Dopamine, rewarding yourself. Oxytocin, connecting, building human connections. Third one is, anybody here? Dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, happy hormone, mood enhancer, and the last one is endorphin, releasing all the negative emotions. When you practice this on a daily basis, then you can truly say you are here, you are born to win. One life to live, my dear friends. कुछ करते हैं ना कमाल का. Let's do something incredible and let's take India to the world class level. कुछ कमाल का करते हैं। With this, I wish you all the best. May you believe in yourself. May you practice daily dose of self-belief. May you compare yourself to only get inspired and to only learn and improve. And may you always believe that you are born to win. Thank you so much.